Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on this awesome Saturday. We actually have the teacher salaried, hold on, I always do this. We have the teachers, let me look it up because I always look at the teachers salaried workers and credit and cooperative credit union limited with us today for our J alumni webinar. And what we're going to talk about today is products that are going to help you with pandemic proofing your finances. Now we have Miss Elaine Ferguson, Mrs. Elaine Ferguson, I apologize, who is the business development manager for the Teachers and Salaried Workers Cooperative Credit Union. And I'm going to bring her in. As you guys may or may not be aware, credit unions typically operate just a little bit differently than banks. They offer more flexibility, better rates on products, and more savings options. So we thought that for this particular topic from the JA side, that they would be an excellent match to give us some information. Once Mrs. Ferguson has completed her presentation, please feel free to ask questions. Also, during the presentation, if you'd like to ask a question, just so you don't forget it, you can pop it into the chat. And once the presentation is completed, then what we will do is also ask questions on your behalf if you'd like us to do that as well. Also joining us from the Teachers and Salaried Workers Cooperative Credit Union Limited, getting better at it, is Mr. Byron Miller, and Mr. Byron Miller is president of this credit union and has a rich history in banking. So he'll also be on as support. So again, welcome team. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Mrs. Ferguson, to get started.
Hey, good morning to everybody. My name is, like Selena said, Miss Archer. I'm Elaine Ferguson, the new kid on the block, like Mr. Miller says, in the business development department. I'm just gonna apologize if you hear the noise. I live in an environment where people don't sleep, and I live with humans who move about freely. So, but it's a pleasure to be on this Zoom, this meeting via Zoom, and showing my face, because this is something I normally don't do. I stay in the background and just let the work be put out there. But I've been with the credit union for the past 36 years. So business development is the new change for me since the onboarding of Mr. Miller. Teachers and Salary Workers Credit Union has been around for quite a long time. And I know a lot of our people don't know a lot about the credit union. And we were, it's named Teachers and Salaried, born out of Teachers First, but the salary came along and represent everybody that's earning a salary. And we have savings clubs such as regular deposit, fixed deposit, vacation club, Christmas clubs. And also when you come in to borrow from us with the lending and the mortgages and the consumer, we allow you to save. Now, in other institutions, you know, they don't care if you save or not. They just want you to pay that bill. But at Teachers and Salaried Workers Credit Union, we encourage our members to save. So in the event you have to come back and borrow again, your shares would have been built up as your loan or your mortgage go down. We also have insurance coverage on our shares that in the event of death, the shares is covered up to $20,000 where it's doubled. And our consumer loans up to $100,000 in the event of death. So your beneficiaries would not have to sweat on, wow, mommy or daddy died and they left this balance for us to pay. So, you know, like all insurances, there's an age criteria. They will do it based on your ages at 55, 65, 75, but it's doubled up to 20,000. So once you hit the $20,000 mark, that is doubled. And then the rest will just be paid as a difference. It would not be doubled beyond $20,000. And during this time in the pandemic and before being transitioned out into business development, I saw a lot of our members hurting because, you know, as a culture, I think we think we need to borrow for everything. We always don't think saving is a big thing until it's at the last minute. And I've been telling persons for years, start small and you'll be surprised. If you start at $20, if you can't do it weekly, $20 a month, in 3 months' time, that's $60. If you look at that in 12 months' time, you know, look at it, we tend to always want to go and look at a big amount. You don't have to save big. A lot of us also want to say, let our children go up to school. Hey, UB there is now free. We could save towards it, but don't wait until the children getting there in high school and we want to save. No, start once you know you're having a child, start then, start small, and you'll be surprised to know in how much years that monies will accumulate to assist. Because I would say to persons now, we want to send our children off to school, but if you have to borrow that monies and can't pay that back in a year time, what's going to happen when you got to pay the next fee? I've seen many persons, even more so with the pandemic, Family Island members, children were off to school, they lost everything, and guess what? Those children had to come back home. And we might be devastated, but it hurt our children much more to know they started something and couldn't even finish. So I always encourage persons, start small. If you have children and you might want them to go up to school and they might not end up going, but guess what? That monies can go towards something else. I tell my son, he said, oh, I want to go off. I said, really? Daddy worked for the military, mommy at a certain age. Ain't no borrowing happen up in here no more. So guess what, you be this? But he said scholarship. I said, fine. I said, but look at that. I tell people, you be here. Transportation free, food free, housing free. Ain't got to pay none of that. Incidentals, you're at home if anything happen. But nothing wrong with wanting those goals for our children, but we have to be sensible about it. We keep our rates on our savings and our loans better for our members so they can be encouraged. We would have members come out and want to go and say, oh, I want to get this kind of car. I want to get that kind of car. Hey, look at what you could afford. It isn't about the niceness of the car. It's the affordability of the car. And the car will do the same thing a Lamborghini or a Mercedes would do. We don't have to always get what we see the Joneses have because we don't live with the Jones. We have to be able to make sure whatever we're doing, it's within our budget and it's affordable, because this pandemic showed us we could plan all we want, but when the life curve balls hit us, that is it. We are in a panic mode and we don't know what to do next. So I just would say encourage persons, start small. We don't have to borrow for everything. If you can't do 20, do 10. If you could do 50, do 50. And you might not be able to do it every month, but once you start and be disciplined and say, you know what, I'm not taking this for that. We always want to say fast food. My boy don't eat breakfast, but he always wants Subway. Hey, Subway's $12 and change. And that's a foot long, but he's a teenager. So I like, okay, no foot long today, eat within the house. One like me, I was like, no, I'm happy I stay stuck in the office, because going out there and so forth, what I see people buy for coffee and so forth, nah. I had my sister-in-law bring me a 32-ounce cup from a Waywood, like a thermos, and that lasts me the whole day with my hazelnut creamer and my hazelnut coffee. So imagine, I don't know what coffee costs out there because I don't buy it. I tried it once a long time ago, but it's not the same when you make it homemade. Homemade is the way you go. The same sandwiches and stuff we spending money on them, we could buy those stuff and fix those ourselves. They add up. Every penny spent out on things we don't have to, because you look at it, when you go in the food store years ago, you could spend $100 and come up with all kind of bags. You go in the food store now, you'd be lucky if you come up with 2 bags, because the cost of everything has gone up. The VAT has gone up on everything, So when we look at where we're going, the Bamboo Shack, Kentucky, Burger King, and those little sandwich, when you don't eat, and like my husband always say, when you don't eat that fast food, you're still hungry. So you might as well learn to eat your homemade cooked food most of the times. Sometimes treat yourself, yes. Because sometimes you could have your foot long, you could have your cookies, you could have your donuts. But we just have to make sure we learn to pull back, tighten up our belts, because we never know when the life curve balls will come and hit us. Because a lot of us wait until the last minute and we want a mortgage. But when we want to go for a mortgage, we don't realize the debt we get ourselves involved in on regular consumer loans hinder the progress of us getting a home. Because nowadays, your debt service ratio have to be a certain way. Your credit score has to be a certain way. And when you have already exhausted your funds in consumer loans and you're ready to have a home, what's going to happen? You can't afford the fees. You can't afford to get the home, because guess what? Your debt service ratio is sky high, because it's built up on borrowing for vacation, Christmas shopping, buying all of the clothes and everything else. Ladies, we like our makeup and we like our weave. Get a good weave. Get that one. You could wash that and style that. I don't care what people wear cap nowadays. Looks so good. I don't even know if it's the hair or not. You understand me? So I was like, I cut mine off. I had locks. I cut it bald. I say, I want to do what the dudes do. Just go shower and just brush. If I want to brush, I brush. If not, I just take my finger and run through the hair, but get a good weave. Get some good makeup and, go light because things are expensive. Because what I see, they charging for a brush hair. My God, I'll never use that. I'll have to use my fingers, but, it's just to encourage everybody to start small. And once you start, as little as much in the long run, but the credit union has been around for a long time. And a lot of our foreigners in our country know more about credit unions because that's where they came from. And a lot of our Bahamians don't even know what the credit union is all about. But once you come into the Teachers and Salary Workers Credit Union, we offer so much different products. We now have on board a lot of loan products for members that they come in and that is open to persons who are from reputable companies where they can do salary deduction. And you don't have to be a member for no long period of time. You join today, and once you're ratified, you borrow. So you don't have to be a member before a time like you had to be a member 6 months before you could get a loan. No, that doesn't happen anymore. You join today, you ratify it in a week, you get your appointment, you come, and once you meet the requirements that is out there that we have in place, you qualify. So we have something called a college starter. We have a self-employment product. We have the debit card, we have a credit card, and we have a campaign product out there that's for mortgage and any other miscellaneous or other borrowing that persons would think that they would be interested in. And the good thing about the credit union is you're not a customer, you're not a client, you're a member. You have ownership inside the credit union. So whenever you walk into the credit union and somebody didn't treat you the way you felt to be treated, hey, let us know, because you have ownership within the credit union because you're a member, not a customer, not a client. So the credit union is a good place to be and a good place to start saving and so forth. And at any time, like I would say to anybody, wherever they see me and I pass and they say, hey, Miss Ferguson, once you remember, they must say, hey, I know you from the credit union or this presentation. I'll take the time and talk. I'm a talker. I talk plenty sometimes. So I don't know if this would have been sufficient, but I think it gave you some good pointers. And feel free that if you have any other questions beyond this webinar, Selena can give you my contact and call me direct. I have no problem in talking and sharing and channeling you to the right person that you would need to speak with, because we also have an Abaco branch and we have a Freeport branch. So there's always a way to get members satisfied with whatever their need is once I can accommodate them. So thank you very much for having me, and enjoy the rest of your morning. And if there's any other questions or concerns, Mr. Miller could chime in, or the floor is open for questions.
No problem. We did have, thank you so much. You mashed my corn because I got Duncan before. And I was thinking about that because I actually do a budget for myself. It's something that I've gotten into the habit of doing. And when I don't go to the food store, I notice that instead of spending the allotted amount that I have on food every month, like the Dunkin', which is becoming habitual, they know my name by now. I do end up spending a whole lot more. So that was a really good reminder. And I'm just scrolling up through some of the messages just to make sure that I got them in there. What is a good age to start saving for retirement?
Well, for retirement, to me, once you're an adult and you're working, you don't have to wait on an age. You could start as early. We have our children who go out and they pack groceries or they work part-time. That's a start, because we don't know when retirement might reach us. Retirement might not be at 65. Retirement could happen at sickness. Retirement could happen as a disability, and if we're not planned for that, so why wait? I have my boy in the credit union from he was a baby, so we could start. It's just upon of how disciplined we would be with it, so we don't have to wait for an age per se to retire. You can start early, because we have the piggy bank accounts where the child 2020 child accounts where you can open up and put your children in. You just will need the information from the parent, and you could start, and that starts at $20. So for your children, you could start, and that's a form of teaching them, because for me, I have a budget and I have it set up in an Excel spreadsheet. where my tithes and savings come out to go to my son account, to a little bit to my husband, and to say, even to say for college, because I don't know what might happen, or at least if I leave this place, God forbid right now, something will be in place, because we don't ever know. And like I said, the pandemic has been an eye-opening for a lot of us, that it give us time for ourselves, something we would not have done. It has teach us to be more prudent with our savings than to always just wait for the last minute to start now. So age to me isn't a set age. If you have children, or if you want to do it for yourself as an individual, if you have a little side or part-time job, start now. Don't wait until you get into a job where I want to make $30,000 and save $100 a month. Hey, some people retire at age 30 because of some situations that weren't planned or they did not expect to happen. So age is not a limit for planning for retirement. I think the earlier you start, the better for you in the long run.
Thank you so much. And just a reminder to everybody who is here today, please feel free to ask questions. If you are a little shy, I have been getting private messages as well. So if you want to ask a question, just unmute yourself at this time and ask. And while we wait for persons, just another question that we had gotten in. With the new credit rating, will my past debts affect it? Also, should I get a credit card to build my rating?
Well, the credits, you say the credit score?
They did say credit rating, but I'm sure that that's what is being alluded to.
Okay, well, within the teachers and salary workers credit, I know, well, a lot of us might know about the credit bureau coming on stream, and it has not been fully implemented. That will affect those persons. I don't know how far back they would go, but in the credit union, it would not affect you. The only thing would affect, because the law of the land says you must have at least 25% of your salary to take home. But with us, we say you could only tie up 65% of that. So if your DSR does not exceed what we ask of you, it's not a problem. So you could just start, you could come in and you don't have to have because the credit card is another debt. Unless you're going to keep it for emergency purposes, but our credit card rate, we keep it lower. We use it through Fidelity, but it's credit teachers own because we're not a clearing bank. But the rates are lower than what the other institutions would do, the 18% and the 22%. But a credit card is just like another bill. But the credit card is there. I would say if you have one, you keep it for emergencies, and if you have to travel overseas, because everything, the world is going towards plastic now. Because when you travel now, you have to swipe to pay for your luggage. When you go overseas to get a car, they want a credit card. If you want it for that purpose, yes, but not to go grocery shopping and Christmas shopping and so forth. So if you have a credit card, let it be for emergency purpose. Get it, put it in the house, leave it in the house. Don't take it behind you where you go because you're going to be tempted. You go in a store and, we females, we see those nice shoes. Ooh, that looks so lovely. Guess what? Swipe, here we go. So you can have one for emergency because you need it, but leave it in the drawer. Don't bring it out the house. Bring it out the house when you travel, or, if you're going away and you need to book a car or something like that, but leave the credit card home. But it's a good thing to have, but you got to leave it home. Don't keep it in the purse now. Leave it in the house. Mine's in the house. I don't take it behind me no more.
Very, very true. I also learned my lesson, and it was the shoes. For me as a female, it really was the shoes. And what I did with the credit card, I don't know if anyone else has had this happen, is, oh yeah, I'll transfer the money to it when I get home. And then you don't. So
exactly.
That's advice. Another question we have here, can both my husband and I join under an account if he is self-employed and I work for the Department of Education?
Both become a member as individual. Because the insurance covers individual life to get the benefit once a death, but you can have joint savings account. You can just do the savings as a joint, and it doesn't matter if he's self-employed, he can do joint savings. And even if he wants to borrow as an individual, we have a self-employment empowerment package out there that our self-employed persons will be able to benefit from. So if they want to do a joint account, they can join as a joint savings only, because joint membership cannot borrow. It's on individual.
Okay, I have two more questions. I'm going to ask this one first. Once I've decided to get a mortgage, how many years should I plan on saving for it?
Right. I don't know if Mr. Miller would want to chime in on that, but I would say the savings to the mortgage, I'm not too familiar with what the deposits would be, because it would depend based on the amount you're looking for. Because I know I see it's up to 500, but it depends on what you want to afford as a home. Because if you want to buy a $400,000 house, you know that would be a big mortgage. So your fees will be a little bit more, especially the fees with the VAT is where our problem will come in, because, you know, credit unions are exempted from fees because of being cooperatives. But when you're talking about what the government taxes or what the VAT fees are, so that takes precedence over the amount you want to build for and what the legal people will charge you now based on who you go to. Because I know back in the time when I was in the area, persons would, some lawyers tend to charge 2.5%, some charge 3%, some would say, because I've known you for a long time, I will give you 1.5%. So that will depend on the preference of attorney. That will determine what your fees would be for that. But Mr. Miller could chime in and give some headlight a little bit more on that.
Certainly I can. Thank you so much, Mrs. Ferguson. I am having such a delightful time listening to you. Always good to hear you and the wisdom that you bring. I certainly salute you this morning on behalf of teachers and salaried workers. And thank you so much, Mrs. Archer, for this Ms. Archer, for this opportunity this morning. I want to, as Mrs. Ferguson has indicated, just say to you, we at the Teachers Credit Union, we work with a down payment, what we call equity injection of 5%. Right? Other institutions, even Bank of the Bahamas, for example, have gone out to 20, then 25 and 30% down payment, making home ownership very difficult for Bahamians. As teachers, our members, like Ms. Ferguson has said, our members are our owners, and we have a profound respect for that designation. So we are at 5% down payment. We work with you in any number of ways to try and make things happen. And the beauty about being a part of Teachers and Salaried Workers Corporate Credit Union as a mortgage holder, as Ms. Ferguson pointed out, you don't pay stamp duty on your mortgage because we are exempted as a cooperative. So there are tremendous savings to be realized. So you come up with your 5%, you come in and you start talking with us and allow us to start working with you to allow or cause home ownership to be within your reach. Now, the consumer lending portfolio, as Mrs. Ferguson has indicated, consumer lending has hurt a whole lot of people. And so there's a lot of financial repair and financial healing to be done for and on behalf of Bahamians. We try as a credit union to look at you and to work with you. Unlike your other commercial banks where you're just a number, you are a owner. And so we respect that. So 5% down payment is what would be required. If you haven't started now saving toward your home, do that now. We always encourage folks, if you are late in age, always consider income earning property. Or if you are young in age, consider income earning property so that the income from that property can assist you in meeting your monthly obligation. And then from there, you start dream building on your home. And so you're building your assets. So that's where I want to stop there. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot them at me.
We did have another question that popped in. Are loan payments salary deduction only?
No, we have other companies out there other than government employed, like the private companies who've been established with us. And once they're reputable companies, they can do it through salary deduction through their private companies if they're not government employed. We have where you can do cash secured loans and you can work them over the counter. But once person's coming to us and we see what their financial status is, we don't turn them away. So I would not say to you, no, we don't do it over the counter, but we have programs in place that could accommodate persons as they come in. So if a potential member come in and says, well, I want to do a loan, I don't want to do with salary deduction, the officers will take that information and they will check with their manager or they will check with adjudication and find out, hey, could we do this and so forth? Because Where you might be working, you might not know it's a reputable company because they're not a part of the credit union, but they could have been in existence for years. And you'll be surprised. We have direct deposit where you can do it through your bank to our bank, which is First Caribbean. So that will happen also, could happen also, because, you know, and it's easy to let it come out of your salary, because when we get money in our hand to go pay a bill and something else pop up, man, I forget that. Then we don't realize we just damage our credit right there. Because just bear in mind, credit bureau is coming. It is not going anywhere. It's going to be here. So when you can have a salary deducted, that's the best thing. You can have it done through your company, or you could do it through your company, who can do it direct to the bank without saying sending a check, or they can cut a check and send it in. Because when you mess your credit up, with credit bureau coming on stream, that's going to mess everything with you. So once you have a good credit, you could go and negotiate your rate when credit bureau come in full force. So, you know, it's best to do with salary deduction, because when you have monies in your hand and anything else pop up, guess what? You're going to look at that and say, oh, I can pay that bill a little later. When later come, you don't have that, because things happen and so forth. But salary deduction is the preferred option, but it's not mandatory. So you can fall in a category of where we have one of our products that will accommodate you based on the need, and when you come in, and what is it you're looking to do with us.
Okay, thank you so much. This is awesome. I'm learning so much today. There is another question, and I think that this refers to the mortgage question when that was being answered. Is the 5% down based on vacant land purchases or just mortgages? And then another person has asked, what age is considered old? Careful, I answer.
Okay,
The mortgage side.
Okay, I can speak to the 5%. Can you give me that question on the 5% again? You said, is it on vacant land only or on the mortgage itself?
Correct.
Yeah, well, we do have vacant land loans, 5% here on that, and also 5% on land and house property acquisitions and construction as well. So it is 5% across the board. There's no fluctuation. We try to put home ownership within the reach of our members. The credit union is there to empower its members through the collective bargaining process. We share in the mantra, people helping people. We are serious about that. It's not like the banks who come in and they charge their rates and we don't know what happens. We are people helping people, and at the end of the day, the profits are shared among the members. Okay, we don't repatriate profits. It is given back to the membership. Okay, so that 5%, I would encourage you, start saving toward it. Come in, open a share savings account where your interest return is higher on your share savings. If you have a goal in mind, you can hit that goal faster with that share savings account. With respect to how old is old, I am in my 50s and I am still young. So I will not be old until I'm about 100, right? But seriously though, in terms of credit, you would want to try and get started with your dream building at least by age 40, okay? If you are beyond that, you are not old. We just need to look at how best we can craft a solution for you. Okay, so how old is old? I would say if you financially at age 40, if you're in and trying to make some things happen, if you're a little bit beyond that, 60 would be pretty much outside of the boundary, because you only have 5 years of natural work life typically remaining. So home ownership at that point is very difficult. Not impossible, and you know, you can win the lottery. Home ownership is possible at that in that vein. But I would say to you, start as early as you can dream building. And again, to our younger people, parents, if you're on the call, encourage your son, your daughter to look for a duplex property, a triplex property. The financial system is glutted with foreclosures, and it's a sad saga, right? But it's a reality. Our children can go and start looking at purchasing a duplex, because we do consider a part of the rent in your what we call our debt service ratio. So it makes qualifying a little easier. All right, if you see a townhouse that you want to purchase, that you know you want to rent out, perhaps to high value clients, consider that. and start earning revenue for yourself, multiple streams of income, right? So that as you are moving up the age pole, you don't have to be stressing yourself about whether NIB is going to be around for you when you are approaching the age of need. Okay.
Perfect, perfect. I think Mrs. Ferguson did answer this one, but I'm going to ask again anyway, just in case. Can I join and pay over the counter?
Okay, if they want to become a member and bring the funds over the counter, they can do that. But when it comes to the lending side, that will be where they will discuss with the officer, and based on the product they're interested in, that will determine what happens from there. But you can come in and join, and you could walk your funds in over the counter until you're ready. Okay, I want to be able to apply for a mortgage or a consumer product. Then the officers will tell you, okay, this is what will happen and so forth. But to become a member, you could just walk in your funds over the counter and save it. But once you're disciplined with it, because you want consistency, you want to be able to have a record to show I've been putting something in every month. That's how you build your savings credit. Consistency. So, if you're disciplined enough to know I can do it every month over the counter without strain, and like I say, it don't have to be a set amount every month, but make sure you do it every month, because that's your record right there to build towards your credit. So if you come in January and don't come no more till December, no. You come in January, don't come in no more till June. If we say to you, we're going to give you the opportunity to pay over the counter, you have not built that credit tracking with us, because it's sporadic. You don't want that. Because like I said, with credit bureau coming, you're going to have a good trail of consistency for you to be able to go into institutions and bargain rates, what is being offered out there based on your credit.
Okay. As it relates to saving for your home, would I have to open a regular savings account, or is there a special type of account geared toward this goal?
Well, when you come into the credit union to get a mortgage, when you open up your account as a member, you have all those accounts attached to that one number. You can do the share savings, the regular deposit, all of those club accounts I mentioned earlier, it's on that one account for you. So if you just want to say save now and put it on regular savings or put it on fixed deposit, that option is there. You don't have to get the mortgage right there, but you can, under being a member, those accounts are available for you to save until you're ready or have sufficient to go towards your down payment or what is it you're planning on doing. Because we have consumer loans. If you come in to join and want to do a consumer loan, we have them where they're unsecured. So that doesn't require you to save. You start savings once you get the loan to add to say, well, we say you'll save this, which is the mandatory $50 a month, and this is your payment. So we do unsecured loans for persons who want to participate in the consumer loans, but with the mortgage require you having that deposit, like Mr. Miller said.
Okay, there's another question that came in as well. How do I become a member?
Well, you'll have to come into our office and fill out the application, but make sure when you walk into the office or you come to the office, come with because in order to join, they're not going to let you take the documents out of the office. So you'll have to have like your job letter, your IDs and so forth in order to have membership. But you can always come into the office and they fill out, because you need, let me see here. Yes, you would need your identification, and then you would have to pay the membership fees and so forth. But our office is open at 9:30 to 4, Monday to Thursday, and 9:30 to 5 on Fridays. And that will be in the member services area, where they will come downstairs and they can stop to the receptionist and she can guide them, or she will be able to assist them based on what she's dealing with at the time. And they will tell you what is the requirement needed. But I know that for sure the job letter, your identification, your passport, your NIB, and the address verification information. So they just would need that to fill out. The other forms is in-house, where they'll tell you need to fill out and so forth.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Ms. Archer, I just want to add too, Ms. Ferguson is doing such a wonderful job. I know there are times when persons may come in and we may tell them, well, to join, you're required to pay X amount of dollars. The credit union is about members, people helping people. When you come in, you become a member owner. When you are joining the credit union, there is an entrance fee of $278. the $200 goes toward the purchase of your equity shares, right? And $50 again in another form of contributory equity. You become an automatic owner of the credit union, in the credit union. Now, I cannot think of any financial institution that is 100% owned by its members other than the credit unions, and not the other financial institutions, not even Bank of the Bahamas. So when we look at it, you become an active participant in our affairs, in selecting our board members, in selecting committee members, simply by becoming a member. You pay $278, and that opens the entire spectrum of the credit union to you as a Bahamian, as an individual, as a worker. So there is so much to be gleaned, so much to be realized from taking out membership with the credit union. Before I joined in February of last year, I knew very little of it. When I got in, it was like the dawn of information had come to me, because I realized now the credit union was the best secret in this country. And the savings and the opportunities that are embedded and entrenched in credit union membership is second to none. And so I encourage the listeners and those who, if you know of persons out there who need to get themselves aligned with a savings goal, home ownership, real estate, vehicle purchases, make the credit union your stop, because every year we account to our members. We tell you, we ask you to vote on issues for us so that we can be empowered. So it is literally an organization owned by the members, Bahamian hardworking people.
Thank you so much, Mr. Miller. Like I said, I am learning just a great deal today. And there are some questions, so a few more questions. Mostly though, I'm getting a lot of requests for a direct line for you, Mrs. Ferguson, and I want to make sure that I give them the right one. Also, I would like to get the name and contact for someone in Freeport so that we have someone interested in opening an account.
Okay, Mrs. Ferguson, are you there?
Oh, Mrs. Ferguson, you're on mute, sorry.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, the manager there is Tonya Presenti. Sorry about that. Once they call her, she'll guide them to the right person to go from there.
Sorry, that's me now with my mute button. Do you have a direct contact for Mrs. Presenti?
Hold on.
Okay. And while we're getting that number, if the individuals are contacting someone, just let them know that they participated in this show today, and that they are responding as a result of it, so that we can know who they are.
And as Mrs. Ferguson gets those numbers for you as well, I just want to remind you that we will be sending the recording of this webinar to your email addresses that you signed up for Zoom on. So again, you can share it with friends and family. We will also be uploading it to the Junior Achievement Bahamas YouTube channel. Again, so you can just share that to your networks. And in this email, because based on some of the question for contacts, I will make sure that I put in Mrs. Presenti's number. There is also an Abaco office, so I will ensure that I get that from Mrs. Ferguson as well, and also Mrs. Ferguson's direct contacts. But Mrs. Ferguson, if you wouldn't mind giving us your direct contact so that we could have that out now for the person that needed it, or the persons.
Okay, my direct number 502-9209. And this Miss Presenti 351-6545. That's the Freeport office. And the Abaco is a cell, because I don't know what their situation, because since storing with their numbers. There's a 577-4473.
All right, perfect. Now, does anyone else have any questions? If so, you can unmute the mic or you can pop it into the chat, but we are wrapping up now and I wanted to make sure that you had everything answered. So if you want to unmute, that's fine. Just another question here that had come in earlier. We kind of got a little sidetracked. So in the news this week, it was announced that the credit union was the first sand dollar, was approved to distribute sand dollars. Is there any, Mr. Miller, can you give us a little bit more insight on what that means for the credit union and those who are interested in digital payments?
Sure, I can. This is a new era for us. The credit unions before now were limited in that we were not a part of the automated clearing system that the banks enjoyed. So the banks were able to move monies freely between themselves, but the credit unions were not permitted to be a part of that. With the dawn of the sand dollar, we now can allow persons who are in far-flung family islands, persons who are on any island, to participate in a financial system that allows them to move around value, money, without necessitating the presence of a financial institution. The credit union represents one of those pillars that will support the movement of the sand dollar currency. We will be setting up, we do have our online banking system, we do have a mobile app. We will be adding the sand dollar digital wallet to our mobile app so that when you are out and purchasing, you can use your digital wallet to acquire your purchases. This opens a world of opportunity for Bahamians and moves us so far ahead in terms of our advancement financially. If you are a Bahamian living in Inagua and we did not have a credit union presence there, we would have said to you, it's going to be difficult for you to transact business with us. It's not worth your while. Sand Dollar literally opens the doors for you. Okay, so that you can now live in Inagua and participate with the credit union in terms of getting loans, making your purchases in Inagua, in Providence, wherever you are, and there's no limitation, right? So there will be much more coming out with respect to Sand Dollar. We do host educational sessions for our members to show you how serious we are about our members being the owners and providing them with the necessary information. So there's lots of opportunity being presented for Bahamians through Sand Dollar. And we want you to stay tuned because we will be sharing much more over the coming weeks.
Awesome. I feel financially empowered today. So I know next week that I can only get Dunkin' Donuts once and just move that money into my my savings account instead of spending so much and go to the food store, as Mrs. Ferguson had said earlier.
Excuse me. No, 6545 for Miss Percenti. 45.
6545. Sorry, couldn't read my own writing. I will correct that now. 1 second, guys. Let me put that in the chat before I close this out. And while I am doing that again, if there are any more questions, please let us know. Don't be shy. The purpose of these alumni chats from JA is to make sure that we get out a lot of information and, you know, empower ourselves to make the right choices. Like not buying ice cream that's like right out my window now. Okay. All right. So I've put Mrs. or Miss Percenti's number back into the chat correctly. So that's the 3516545, correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, guys. Well, we feel like we've taken up a lot of your Saturday, but we feel like it has been absolutely informative. So again, I want to say thank you so much, Mrs. Ferguson. It was just a delight listening to you. You know, again, you made everything so realistic and so relatable. I know for me, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I can tell by the questions that came from the presentation that you had everyone enthralled. And again, I can't thank you enough for giving up. I know you're a busy woman, for giving up your Saturday morning. And also, Mr. Miller, I want to say thank you as well. We really do appreciate the partnership with the Teachers and Salaried Workers Cooperative Credit Union Limited. I'm gonna get used
There
to
you go. You got it.
I'm gonna get used to saying that whole thing one day. But again, everyone, we encourage you to check out the credit union, see what they have as far as savings plans, and also the mortgages, consumer loans, debt consolidation loans. Um, Again, things that like when I went onto the website, I wouldn't have known about. Like I know Mrs. Ferguson spoke about the spending that we typically do at Christmas. There is actually an account that you can open with the credit union that actually allows you to save for that period. So then you don't overextend yourself during those kinds of times as well. So please, 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 I know the Teachers and Salaried Workers Cooperative Credit Union Limited
Yay.
Yay.
is on Facebook, is on Instagram as well. So if you want to check out those pages, you can do so. Again, everyone, thank you so much. Expect this inbox or these recordings and the information in your inbox on Monday afternoon. And we bid you adieu. Thank you.
Thank you.
Farewell.